Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's another big day here at PAC 14 because we have the man of August. Zach Evans is here to tell us about the Wicomico County Fair, which is coming up. Welcome.
Thank you, Greg. It's great to be here with you.
How do you do this every year? Basically host a party for, it's like up to 8,000 people now.
Yeah, actually, so last year we used the state highway traffic counters, and then we used a metric that they have for an event of this nature. And last year we estimate we were over 17,000. Yeah, so I'll be honest, I have enough time. I have a hard enough time hosting a dinner party for a half dozen people. But a 3-day party for 15 to 20,000,
right?
I think we've figured out the recipe there for that.
Now, this is one of those things, the way this thing formed, it was the old Farm and Home Show, right?
Yes, sir.
Mixed in with the Poultry Festival, which we used to have.
Yeah, I tell you, there was clearly a void, right, in the community programming, I think, in terms of the fair. So the Farm and Home Show was doing a great job at continuity and having 80 plus years of fair traditions,
right.
Fair style traditions. But we've talked about this for the last couple of years with a number of folks. That title, that name, that branding, it just, for whatever reason, it didn't resonate with folks who weren't familiar with the event.
Right.
So you heard Farm and Home Show and you didn't think County Fair.
And it felt kind of exclusive to just a certain group of people.
You're right. And it was very specific. It was very rural and agricultural based. And we want to celebrate that, but of course there's a lot more that goes on in the county, and there's folks that are far removed, generations removed from those industries and that lifestyle now. So with the Farm and Home Show, as you said, the event was sort of on a downward trend, and the Chicken Festival, DPI had just sold the rights from the Chicken Festival to the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce, Ernie Colburn at the time and his staff, they were trying to figure out how they could have some continuity there.
Right, they wanted to save the event.
Yeah.
So great tribute to them.
Yeah, great tribute to them and great tribute to, the economic driver here on the shore, right? The poultry industry. So we got together. I always joke about this initial meeting. To this day, I still don't know if I fully realized what I was getting myself into, but we got together one afternoon, and it was some influential folks, from the community. It was guys like Pete Richardson, formerly of Richardson Officer Sales, who we're going to miss dearly, and Melody Carter from Hebron Savings Bank, and some other folks that you would recognize. And then, of course, the chamber president at the time, Ernie, and our county executive, Bob. And we talked with representatives from the city as well. And we just thought, now's the time. We've got this opportunity. We've got 2 great events. They've got a lot of long-standing traditions. But for whatever reason, even though the support and even though the enthusiasm is there, the execution just wasn't perfect, right? So we got together and we said, County Fair, that's what we need. Just as you've said, why don't we have one? We've got components kind of fragmented through all these different events. So let's bring it all under one umbrella and let's figure out how to do a county fair. And Zach, good luck.
Right. Well, someone said that to me. I was like, isn't it amazing? Like that once they created this thing, it was successful. It was great. And someone said, if Zach hadn't been put in charge of it, it would have completely failed. We were lucky and smart to get the right guy at the right time to drive this thing.
Well, and I'm flattered, and I always appreciate the credit I've been given. But I will honestly say, the Farm and Home Show board, we had some tenured board members there. I mean, that was a board comprised of almost 20 officers and board members. And I leaned very heavily on those folks, and I continue to. I mean, as it runs today, the Wicomico Farm and Home Show Incorporated is the organization that hosts the event.
And it's the cornerstone of the event. There's no doubt about that.
Still the cornerstone. So I was lucky because I had, and Greg, this is no exaggeration, I had probably over 300 years of Farm and Home Show event experience on that board.
Right.
I mean, I had some very tenured, some very long-standing individuals who had been there through multiple generations of their own family. So I was able to bounce ideas.
But they believed in you. They knew you were going to make their event better. They trusted you to do that.
They did. They did trust me. And there were times where I think they questioned that. But just like anything, I mean, one of my big talking points is we're here to identify problems and talk about solutions. And I think what happens in events, there's a natural sort of arc to the life cycle of an event, and you get to a point where you get a little stagnant, you get a little stale.
Right.
You start talking a lot more about the problems, instead of about the solutions. So that was always sort of my tagline. Starting in 2015 is, we've identified the issues. All we're going to talk about is the solutions and how we can make these things work. By having a free event, free attendance, by not charging large vendor fees and things like that, by looking for in-kind trade relationships like we've now established with a lot of folks in the community.
Right.
We were able to build this venue and kind of build out the fairgrounds so that we could accommodate pretty much anybody that wants to come in. And I think you're going to see that even more this year in 2018 is there's going to be vendors and activities going on that we never dreamed we'd be able to pull off because we either didn't have the manpower or we felt like we didn't have access to the resources, the amenities at the fairgrounds.
Right.
And now we've got it going on, man. We've figured all those issues out. We've found these third-party groups who are happy to come in and kind of champion a specific event and sort of take ownership of it. And, one thing I think about that's been a huge success since we started, things like car shows, Jeep shows, motorcycle shows, truck shows. We didn't want to recreate the wheel. We reached out to groups that were already doing that well.
Right.
The high school rodeo. We reached out to the Maryland High School Rodeo.
What a great event that is.
Man,
I get goosebumps when I watch that thing.
It's been an awesome addition.
Yeah.
The Mason-Dixon Deputies
Yeah.
are a regional club here that does this mounted shooting.
Yeah.
And there is a national circuit that these shooters participate in. So we reached out to our local club. We said, guys, you want to have an event? Do you want to, you know what we said? Do you want to do an expo? And they did an expo the first year, and they said, better yet, this is a great venue. The timing works with everyone. Let's do a sanctioned event where our riders can come in, earn points on the national circuit, earn premiums towards that. So
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff has really just went off without a hitch, and we're doing a little bit more of that this year as well.
Yeah. The moment for me was last year. I was involved in the historical thing, the county's 150th birthday, and they wanted to have the parade at the fair, and I was like, it's too discontinued. It's not close enough to the event. It's not going to work. No one's going to show up. It's going to be hot. Everyone showed up. It was a tremendous parade. Everyone was there, and it really it made it really feel like a big community event to me.
It did. Greg, the parade.
It was the Parade of Towns.
Yeah, the Parade of Towns, and that's what we called it. And, it was part of that 150th celebration. And we talked a lot about that with representatives from the county and with the 150 planning group.
Right.
And we said, look, we'd love to do it, but we asked the same questions you did. We said, is the footprint okay?
Right.
It seems like a short run for a parade. Does that make sense? Are we going to be able to get the audience in there? And are we going to be able to really get the folks who are participating in the parade? Can we get them staged in time?
Right.
Get everybody lined up? Where are we going to put them? We can't line them up on Ocean City Road.
Yeah.
The county, however, continues to blow me away with their ability to sort of navigate the logistical challenges that we have in an event like this.
It was a great
crowd. Hopefully we'll have a parade, and it was awesome. I mean, I look back at some of the shots that we actually got from Pac 14 of the parade.
Yeah.
And man, that felt so much like we captured the culture of the event in that 1 hour activity. So yeah, the parade was excellent. We did it last year to celebrate the 150. It's not an event that we'll have every year.
Right.
We decided we're going to use that for milestones
right.
and for reasons to celebrate.
So it's at Winter Place Park. What are the dates?
Yeah, so this year we're going to be August 17th, 18th, and 19th. Historically, the Farm and Home Show had always been the third weekend in
right.
August. So we've continued that with the fair. This will be the fourth year. I can't even believe I'm saying it. This will be the fourth
Isn't it
year.
amazing?
Yeah, that we've rebranded as the fair, and so that's always been the third weekend in August, which just so happens to always be the hottest.
Winter Place is perfect. It's 900 acres. There's plenty of room.
There's plenty of room.
Plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking.
But the events are close enough that walking around is fine.
Yeah. So what we try to keep in mind, is that there's always going to be folks that want to come out, but have either difficulties or they're inhibited in terms of mobility. So a lot of Winter Place Park, while it's not necessarily ADA compliant, we don't have a ton of hills. We don't have a ton of surfaces that are really difficult.
There's not a single hill there.
There's not a single hill, right? So we don't have a lot of surfaces that are difficult to either wheel across or walk across if you're walking a little gingerly or a little slowly. But we try to keep that on our radar. And again, that's something my board has always said is we don't want people to ever feel like they can't see part of what's going on. So we've got some internal means of helping people get around. There's always staff there with multi-seat, UTVs and golf carts
right.
that can assist. but that's more so on a personal level. So what we try to do, and I'll just be honest with you, we go on Google Earth, we drop a pin from our furthest event, and we try to make sure that we're not asking anybody to walk, you know, a super far distance. So we try to keep it within a mile, under a mile.
He's thought this stuff out.
We've thought this stuff out. So most anything you're going to walk from the point of entrance to the furthest program that you see should be well under a mile. That's our goal. Of course, we've got water and restrooms and picnic tables kind of strategically positioned, thinking that we need to give folks an area where they can stop off for rest with shade.
You mentioned the county executive early in his term. I was interviewing him. He was talking about spending money out there to renovate one of the buildings. But the renovation of that building was important. It's crucial to what goes on there with the fair, and he was right.
Yeah, and if you think about that building, we've mapped it out, and we've got a nice grid map. It's over 30,000 square feet in that building. We house now all of our indoor competitive entries. So fruits and vegetables, arts and crafts, photography, quilting, I mean, anything you can think of. We sent out a 90-page premium book that's got all these different classes. So we house all of those exhibits in there. In years past, we've done our benefit and our cake auction in there. We're also now housing 4-H, FFA, and University of Maryland Extension, and all of their respective kind of offshoots and specific programs, all within that building. And it's a core piece of the infrastructure in terms of the fair planning. Now, what I'm starting to see is that building, they're finding other alternative uses for it as the year goes on. I mean, there's always been groups that would rent the space and would utilize it, and the Wicomico Equestrian Club, of course, utilizes the fairgrounds, as I like to call them. They utilize Winter Place Park the other 11 months out of the year when we're not in there for that week in August. So I think that the investment back into that infrastructure allowed us to grow.
It's paid for itself. There's no doubt about it.
It has, and you know very well, Greg, that sometimes the visuals need to be there for people to believe in an event, and just having that building kind of polished up, you know, the exterior redone. And being able to showcase it as a premium building, I think, has attracted more vendors.
So what do you got new this year? I know these events always have to have new stuff.
You got to have excited, something new, right? So again, that life
last year,
cycle.
I think what you had fireworks was new.
Yeah, well, the fireworks we've had every year since year one. But you know, last year we had a number of new things. So the Maryland High School Rodeo, we've always done the mounted shooters, which, you know, they're on horseback shooting at targets. The Maryland High School Rodeo came in for the first time last year, and they were awesome. We realized that, you know, there is a lot of setup and prep time that goes into that, but we're ready for it now, even more so this year. So the Maryland High School Rodeo was brand new last year. Of course, we did the Parade of Towns to accompany the 150th celebration. And then last year was the first year we brought in what we would consider a full-scale carnival. So we had always done inflatables and sort of smaller rides that were really focused to young children. Now we've got Shaw Brothers, who started last year, and they come in their full-scale carnival.
Is Saturday the big day?
So I feel like Saturday is usually the biggest day because it just works with people's schedule. Friday we open at 2 and we run to 9. And we love to get everybody out Friday after work because that's when we're doing our fireworks that first night to kick off the event. We've got some paid performers. The High School Rodeo, that's their biggest day, is Friday. So we kind of try to think of things that we can use as bookends on Friday and Sunday. But I'll be honest, Saturday is definitely... that's our bread and butter. You know, we've got 12 hours that we're open that day. So what we've done this year, we've added a number of new events. The first thing that I'm really excited about is on Saturday, to kick off the morning, we're going to have the Chase the Chicken 3K fun run or walk.
I read about this.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard about it yet, and I know you're on top of things going on, but for the folks that haven't maybe heard about this, check out our website and check out our Facebook because there's a registration there. I'm going to register just for the T-shirt. I'm going to be honest with you because the T-shirt is really, really cool, and I think it's more fun than a lot of other marathon T-shirts, you know, that folks get. So what it is it's a 3K. So
it's 2 miles.
It's 2 miles. It's not a long run. Children who accompany an adult get a free registration. Everybody who registers ahead of time gets a free T-shirt. If there are T-shirts left on site, when you register on site, of course, if your size is there, you'll get a T-shirt as well. But here's the catch, okay? It's not a regular 3K. We're going to have a male and female participant We didn't find the fastest people in the community, but we did find some folks that are able to do the run.
Right.
They are runners themselves, but they're going to be dressed up as chickens. So depending on the weather, we might not be able to put them in a head-to-toe chicken suit.
Right.
But they're going to be dressed up as the chickens. They're going to get a very quick head start. And anybody who crosses the line before either if you're a male, you're competing against the male. If you're a female, you're competing against the female. Anybody who crosses the line before their respective chicken will get a free lunch platter.
Wow.
Courtesy of the Lions Club.
Which they'll have the big frying pan out there.
They have the giant 5-foot frying pan.
Right.
So we're really tying the chicken into this, right? But, I mean, you think about the fair, and when we started, that 5-foot fry pan was one of our biggest draws from the Chicken Festival. And our presenting sponsor.
People don't realize that. People used to drive like for hundreds of miles to see the 5-foot frying pan.
Yeah. And so what we're working with is still the fry pan from that event.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can beat the chicken in this 3K on Saturday morning, you'll get a free lunch platter from the Lions Club, which Governor Hogan came 2 years ago. I don't expect, any individuals that I meet to remember me specifically. I hope that they can identify me, because of my association with the fair. I have run into him probably a dozen times, and anytime he hears my name or the county fair, he always turns and says, "That was the best fried chicken I ever have."
Wow.
Will they be back this year? So he didn't make it out last summer, but I'm hoping we're going to have a special visitor this year.
Right.
And if so, I can't wait to give him a fried chicken platter and hopefully have all the contestants who won that race there sitting with him to eat as well.
For a photo, for the Salisbury Independent. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome, right?
Yeah,
it's early enough. It'll start 9 a.m. Saturday, which is when we open. You can get there between 8 and 9 to register if you don't do so online. Next on Saturday, our next sort of addition to the programming is actually going to be the Wicomico County Fair Queen Pageant. Okay, so it's a mouthful. Let me try that again. The Wicomico County Fair Queen Pageant. Okay. Somerset, Worcester, a lot of surrounding counties have a Little Miss pageant.
They've always had them.
They do. They've always had them.
Yeah.
We were sort of apprehensive to take on that challenge in the early years because we wanted to make sure that the core programming we had was going off without a hitch. Right. Everybody was in the right area, and it was smooth. Well, again, pulling in folks from the community and third parties who are going to help us. Mystic Pageant Productions, who does the Miss Delmarva pageant, is actually volunteering to organize, coordinate, and host the Wicomico County Fair Queen pageant.
You need a Fair Queen.
You need a Fair Queen. You've got one. So we've got a Wicomico County Farm Bureau ambassador, right, that is nominated through Farm Bureau, but we never had our own Fair Queen. We've got the Watermelon Queen.
Yeah.
She'll be there.
Yeah.
So actually, that's the cool part about this. We're going to have some of the other local pageant queens and crown holders and sash holders. We're going to have them serving as our judges for the first Fair Queen pageant.
Okay.
So that's going to be at noon on Saturday. The registration is open online. There is 4 separate age groups, and as of today, I know that there are still slots available in all 4 age groups. Okay. It's a very laid-back pageant. We're not doing a talent show. We're not doing different outfits and stuff. I believe it's pretty basic. It's a natural look.
Right.
I don't know anything about pageants, Greg. So what I'm told, it's a natural look, okay? Right. Which kind of resonates better with the younger audience and with the nature of our event. And we're going to have hopefully some local folks there participating, but also cheering those girls on, because I think that's what it's all about.
That's great.
It's a positive image thing, and we want folks there to support it. So I'm really excited for that on Saturday afternoon.
Keep going.
All right, I'm going to keep going. So before the Fair Queen pageant, because the Watermelon Queen has always been involved in the fair each year, she always gives us watermelon slices. Before the Fair Queen pageant, what we're going to do, we're going to have a watermelon seed spitting contest beforehand. We're going to have a watermelon eating contest afterwards. I understand that you've got to eat this watermelon hands-free. You get a specific amount of time. We're working out the rules. There's a lot of things I'd like to participate in. I don't know if you can tell, but we've got all kinds of cornbread and chicken contests. There's all kinds of stuff I'd love to participate in as a judge, but I never get the chance.
No, someone's got to be in charge.
Someone's got to be in charge. So at some point, I'm going to get me some watermelon. Now, whether or not it's in this competition, we'll have to see. But that's some of the new activities we have all going on in the entertainment area in the stage. Once we finish up with the watermelon eating contest, we're actually going to go right into a University of Maryland 4-H fashion review. So you're going to have, there's a 4-H fashion club. We know that we have the agricultural components.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of robotics and tech now. You know, there's an archery club with 4-H. So we're doing a fashion review on Saturday. You heard me mention the archery club. We're actually going to have them do a demonstration on Friday. So, you know, there's all these different components of 4-H and then University of Maryland Extension that we're trying to incorporate as well. And all of that will be going on Saturday for the most part.
Yeah.
And we've been working with the food vendors to figure out how we could bring back Wing Wars.
That was a serious thing.
That was a serious thing. And there's a sense of pride that goes along with it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, all the food vendors are there to promote their food, to sell as much as they can, right? And to participate in a community event. But there's also the competitive side now because you've got Wing Wars. So I think that makes it a little fun for these guys because they're there working no matter what.
Right.
But to be able to say, I am better. Not because of the menu items I was selling or because I had more sales, but because we were competing apples to apples, wings to wings.
Right.
I am better, right? So we're going to do Wing Wars again. We're going to bring it back on Saturday. It'll be from like 3 to 6 p.m.
Now, if you need a judge for that, let me know.
Hey, well, everybody can be a judge.
Yeah.
And so you're going to wind up with about 20 wings and a beverage for, we're thinking, around $10. If you think of fair food,
right,
or carnival food, or ball game food, $10 for 20 wings and a drink
right,
is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And we're hoping it'll encourage folks to participate. That's 3 to 6 p.m. on Saturday. So those are 3 of our bigger activities that we're adding in this year that we're really excited about. You've still got the fireworks and the high school rodeo and the shooters and all the car shows. You've got over a dozen livestock classes and you know, showmanship items that are going on. And all of that is great. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a life cycle to these events. You don't ever want to get stale. You don't ever want to get stagnant.
Right. I always print the entire schedule in the paper so people can look at that. There's so much to do. I mean, you can just wander around and there's always something about to start.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the dates again.
Yeah, it's August 17th through 19th. We kick things off that
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, yeah. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The ribbon cutting is even fun on Friday.
The ribbon cutting's great.
Everyone is there.
Yeah, I'd encourage folks to come out to the ribbon cutting if you can. We don't want you to leave your place of employment. We don't want to get you in any trouble with the boss. But if you can be there Saturday afternoon, we usually do the ribbon cutting around.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday afternoon. I apologize. Sorry. If you can be there Friday afternoon, we do the ribbon cutting around 2 p.m. And then right at 2 p.m., we start the first livestock show. The high school rodeo will get started. We'll start entertainers and DJ stuff on the stage. I mean, it literally, we kind of hit the ground running, and we don't catch our breath again until Sunday evening at 6 o'clock.
Is it Winter Place Park? Is there an admission charge?
There is no admission charge.
Free.
So, free admission, free parking. We encourage you to take that money you would typically spend on admission or parking,
right,
and support our local vendors.
Right.
You know, buy some handmade goods, buy some T-shirts from the fair, buy some food from your local food vendors. That's where we'd like to see the dollars go.
Yeah.
And you've been a supporter of the fair since day one, and the Salisbury Independent has always been a supporter of the fair. And it's because of that kind of support that we get through our media providers.
It's not hard. It's a great thing.
It's a great thing, right?
It's not hard to support great stuff.
Yeah, it is. And that's our challenge, is to keep it that way and keep the programming very exciting and very new and fresh, and to keep the event family-friendly and affordable. He's
Zach Evans. He's going to be the man of the hour in August. I wish I had an ounce of his energy. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I can't thank you enough. It's been a pleasure.
Find him at the fair and thank him for what he does.
Yeah, find me at the fair. And hey, look, I'll probably be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But, you know, if you get a chance, flag me down, stop me. Ask any questions you might have, but also give me some feedback. We crowdsource a lot of these changes that you see from year to year. So this programming, someone dreamt it up, and you know, we'll give them credit for it. But also, a lot of it is the result of comments and feedback that we get. So, you know, if you can find me at the fair, if you can find anybody wearing a staff T-shirt and you've got opinions, you've got concerns, please express them to us. And more than anything else, if there's something you like, tell us that, because we like to hear it.
Give me the website, sorry.
Yeah, it's wicomicofair.com.
Right.
We are very active on Facebook.
It's a nice site.
Yeah, the site actually, you know, there's vendor applications, there's sponsor applications. The premium book will be on the site. There will be registration if you want to enter in any of those competitive classes. It also highlights our fundraisers that we have going on before the event. And of course, it lists all of our sponsors. If you don't mind, can I thank a few of our,
Sure,
of our sponsors? So our presenting sponsors this year, as they have been for the last couple of years, are Purdue Foods and Farms.
Right.
So Purdue and Toyota are our big presenting sponsors. Our best in show sponsor is McIntyre Electric and Wireworks.
John McIntyre, one of my favorite people.
John McIntyre, you don't understand how many times he's bailed us out. Because when you've got 100+ vendors, when you've got an entertainment stage,
he'll show up himself and
all
fix
these
stuff.
lights,
Yeah.
and actually, John might get mad that I share this, but John was out there camping with us last year. So there's a lot of fair board members and participants who camp overnight. John stayed overnight every night last year and was basically on call. I mean, I can't say enough about how much he did.
Yeah.
He makes sure that everything's going to fire up when the sun starts to go down. So thanks to McIntyre Electric. And then, of course, Burke Equipment. You're going to see a lot of orange equipment out there, but that's because Burke is a huge supporter. They allow us to utilize their equipment to prep the grounds and to run the event. We have a lot of media sponsors. Of course, the Salisbury Independent is our premier print sponsor. Thank you guys for that from year to year. iHeart Media, Adams Radio Group, and all of their respective stations. You know, I could go on for days. Top City out of Fruitland is actually a big sponsor this year, and we're really excited to have them. I'm pretty pumped to unveil what they've donated to the fair because I think it's going to make the fairgrounds that much more accessible and easier to navigate and walk around and sort of get to where you want to go. So that big thanks to all those sponsors. And we have 32 sponsors total, so I'm not going to bore you with lists of them all. But those are our big guys. So you can see more and learn more about them on our website. If you don't go to our website, check us out on Facebook. Be sure to add and follow us. We're super active on Facebook. We run contests through there. We promote vendors and activities.
Yeah, and it's not dumb stuff. It's interesting stuff that you put up.
Yeah,
so,
try to make it, you know what we try to do is encourage people to participate. So we share a lot about our classes that we have and our open competitive things you can do. So all of that's really fun. And when we get closer to the fair, Instagram, Snapchat, we run the gamut. So you can come out there and use your Snapchat filters and post and share your photos on Instagram. Be sure to tag us. We usually run a photo contest. Again, there's a lot going on. It's a 3-page schedule, so I won't bore you with all the details.
Thanks. Zach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Thanks for having me.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.